Family, we're finally bringing this long-awaited legs workout, a complete routine to build power, strength, mobility, and endurance. And you can be sure that muscle mass will come with it as well. We'll also be touching the 3 planes of motion, so we've got all these attributes and movement patterns into one single workout. And to make it accessible for anyone, you'll have 2 options on each exercise. The bodyweight variation, in case you want to do it with no equipment, and the weighted option. So whether you train from home or in the gym, this routine will serve you. This is the last routine of the Rings Push-Pull Legs program. So now that's complete, we have added it to our app, where you'll have a program introduction guide, the calendar, the option to customize the routine to fit your level, and last but definitely not least, you'll be able to track your progress. And believe it or not, you can use all of this at no cost. So all you need to do is download the Saturno Movement app and get your practice started. And now, let's get to the workout. To begin the session, we'll warm up with 5 to 10 minutes of light cardio of your choice, such as jogging or using an invisible rope if you don't have one, just to get some blood flow going. Then we'll do something a bit more specific to get your lower body ready for what's to come with this mobility sequence. This one will fold your entire body, flex it, extend it, twist it, and get you in tune with where you are in terms of range of motion. After that, we'll do both sagittal and frontal leg swings, followed by pogo jumps, which will focus more on tendon stiffness, knees, and ankles before we get to the big jumps. And with the warm-up complete, let's begin with the power block with this explosiveness exercise. We've got high jumps for the home variation and box jumps as the gym option. In the home variation, your target is obviously jumping as high as possible without forgetting to stick the landing. Too much attention is placed on the height and not much on how you land, which if we think about it, longevity-wise is way more important. If you're in the gym, you'll go for box jumps, where again, we're not only going to be attentive on jumping height, but also the landing. Now, these 2 exercises might look the same, but pay attention at how different they are. On high jumps, we begin with arms forward, we jump through them, bringing them down on the top, and we land with arms forward again for a softer and counterbalance landing. On box jumps, however, we begin by bringing our arms back and quickly forward to propel us to jump higher. Once on the top, we free fall and land with arms forward, like we've seen in the previous variation. Now moving on, we'll get into the strength block with front squats and deadlifts. Now let me tell you, it's very hard to replace the stimulus you get from weighted front squats with just bodyweight exercises, let alone deadlifts, which in my opinion is irreplaceable. Like, you cannot trick yourself into picking something heavy without having a load. So if you have the option, first do front squats and deadlifts next. If you don't have the option, the way to kind of replace the front squats to mainly focus on your anterior chain could be with shrimp squats, which is a triple extension move and places a high load on the quads. And when it comes to the deadlift, we've got the Nordic curl or the single leg RDL. We've got 2 options because it's very rare that you have proper setup at home to do Nordic curls in a way that you can scale the intensity. If you're in the 1% that do, amazing, do your Nordic curls. If you don't, you probably have that in the gym. But if you're in the gym, I recommend you prioritize deadlifts instead. So I think that a good option you can do is the single leg RDL. It's so accessible, it's easy to scale, and it's the one that mimics best the hip hinging movement pattern of the deadlift. Now, if you're looking for a strength stimulus with this exercise, you need to fix these 4 things. First one is to support yourself just enough so balance is not a limiting factor. Then, instead of having the back leg extended, which acts as a counterweight, making the concentric phase of the movement easier, flex it and align your knee with the other to neutralize that weight. Respecting the tempo is key here, so lower down slowly and get back up fast. And lastly, add weight once you are comfortable with the 3 previous points. With those 4 modifications, I can assure you that you'll feel your posterior chain working, and you'll be able to practice it with lower reps at a higher intensity. Moving on to the mobility block, we'll get some work done in the frontal plane, opening up those hips with Cossack squats. Another exercise that's very accessible that can be done both at home or in the gym. Pick where you want to focus with your foot position, toes up and out to focus on your hamstrings, or down and in to focus on your adductors. And doing it with weight can help you get deeper, but don't go too heavy or else you'll be too tense to unlock new ranges of motion. After that, we'll open the front side of the hip with split squats. It can also be done at home or in the gym, but there is a small difference between these 2. If you're doing it without load, increase the distance between your feet as if you wanted to go for a front split, but not as deep. If you're going for the weighted, get closer and aim to cover the calf with your hamstrings when you lower down. On both variations, the intention is to keep the back leg as extended as possible as we go up and down. After that, we'll get into the endurance block by walking with our hips as close to the ground as possible, an exercise you may know by the name of duck walk. This seemingly easy task will reveal so much about your current mobility, balance, and certainly endurance. The 3 levels I suggest on this one are the hand-assisted, the duck walk, and the long-range duck walk. Finally, we'll end the session with, you've probably guessed it, shaking and stillness. In this case, however, the shaking will be done first by standing for a couple of minutes, shaking each leg, and end by lying down to remove the tension from standing and improve the relaxation effect. And stay still right after, either lying down or sitting. Family, hope you enjoyed this workout, and thank you so much for being here, for practicing with us, and for sharing your love and support. I'll see you on the next one. And as always, the practice goes on.